Let's face it, the dollar just isn't what it used to be. That's why people like you and me, we gotta be careful to get the most value for our money. That's why I come here, Taco Bell. I can feed my whole family for $5.59. 2 tacos, 2 bean burritos, 2 tostadas, pintos and cheese, soft drinks, only $5.59. Like they're saying, Taco Bell. What a meal, what a deal. No kidding.
Taco Bell.
All right, bienvenidos to the Pabloverse Podcast. We have no clue what we're doing. It's New Year's, and we're just here to shoot shit, and that's it.
Pretty much.
So I'm just gonna check our audio levels because I don't want to be a complete noob.
That's definitely some bullshit.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, so we don't have too much going on. I got a little plan for coming up to explain the art of storytelling / propaganda and knowing what's up and what's down and not getting too topsy-turvy. Because the world's getting gayer and gayer as the time goes. So gay that we can't even have our faces on this.
True.
And, I mean, even Andrew Tate got arrested, bro. That's the second time he's been arrested while being famous.
This fucking guy, bro. No chance. No chance at all.
I saw a video. I don't go online very much. I try to stay off, but I caught a video of him and his brother coming back from jail. So apparently they're out of jail.
What did he get arrested for?
They said, like, I think it was the same thing as last time, like sex trafficking, but this time they threw rape in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this in the U.S.?
No, this is Romania.
Oh. Well. Damn, you must have really fucked up to get arrested over there.
I don't know. I think that there's like that line. Like, is he on to something? Is he really pissing people off? I think he's actually pissing people off, and he has just the right amount of money to like not be in the club and then piss people off.
I mean, is it possible he was not fucking Romanian hookers?
His business was literally Romanian hookers, and that's how he made his money first off. Not a bad business to be in, I guess.
In that case, he's doing a really good fucking job.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The thing is that he likes to play this thing where he goes, it was a good point he made. Like he said, would you want to be in a country where you couldn't benefit from its corruption? He's like, because Nancy Pelosi can benefit from corruption, but you can't. And so if I have a choice, I'm going to go to a country where I can benefit from corruption.
So Romania, is that?
Yeah, he says that it's like he can drive his car as fast as he wants. He just has to pay a speed ticket and shit. Pause. Anyway, so yeah, he likes to go fast in his Bugatti. And but the thing is, that's a double-edged sword. Everything's a double-edged sword, really.
It is.
As Louis C.K. says, everything's a double-edged sword. He benefits from the access to corruption, but now that he's so big that he's global, his global enemies could also potentially benefit from that corruption. It just goes to the highest bidder. And he's not the biggest guy on the block. Like,
no, not at all. There's, other guys benefiting off of some Eastern European countries,
Yeah. Like Ukraine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
totally not using that for a money laundering situation at all. That would be illegal, but,
Yeah. I don't know. I remember hearing this once, and I remember thinking, like, it sounded pretty valid, that Ukraine is just a washer machine for technology to
100.
then go to China and Russia, and then, but then it's like, who's managing that contract? Who's in control? And that's when it becomes messy.
The big guy,
The big guy.
The
Gotta
big
cut
guy.
him 10%.
Yeah, 10%.
I wonder who the big guy is.
We all know who it is.
He doesn't know who he is.
No, he sure as fuck doesn't know who it is. The big guy.
The
Yeah,
big guy.
yeah, the big guy. When's lunch?
And then I'm just gonna shit my pants.
And disappear. All right. Good times.
What's up with Biden? What's going on? What's the news?
I don't think he
lately?
fucking knows what's up with Biden. Yeah, we're fucked. That's pretty much what I gather from it.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's every day, so.
Basically, what you're going to see on this podcast is playing conversational minesweeper. Since I don't go online anymore, I don't know what's happening in the world too much. I mean, I knew what was happening with the top G, but that's it. I try to stay offline, so I'm kind of like Biden. I don't know what's going on, and Ryan is kind of like my handler here, or AKA Han Pablo.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The gate for information, if you will, the arbiter of information.
I just want to be dumb. I just want to be dumb, except for one day a week where I find out some scathing info about the state of affairs.
It would be nice. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is definitely bliss.
You realize how much time you have to just think? Like, if I put the phone down, it's scary. I think about thinking, and it's like, wow, the phone used to be my opium to keep my mind from looking into itself. And I know it's a strange phenomenon when I don't have the internet.
It really is, man. 'Cause, I mean, and once you get used to just like having that fucking thing, and it's just always there, and it's accessible, and it's right next to you, and like no matter, like, you know, it's a fucking bad idea every time. You're just like, oh yeah, I need to get rid of this fucking thing, or I need to use it less. And then you're like, oh, where's my fucking phone at?
Yeah.
You can't seem to put
Dude,
the son of a bitch down, dude.
It's bad, like when you're sleeping and you reach for it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like, it's like you're in my head. This
Dude,
thing is in my head.
It's literally, it's the first thing you fucking pick up when you wake up, and it's the last thing you put down when you go to sleep, man. It is drugs when you think about it.
I think we'll probably look at technology, or this version of technology, in the way that we look at like the turn of the century for opium. Like, people back then, like, oh, we use opium to cure headaches. You have a cold, opium, cocaine,
Opium.
yeah, Coca-Cola. Yeah, there's wars fought for this shit. It cures everything.
That is a fact.
And now it's like, as you reach for your phone, I think the technology is just, it's a one-way train to,
Fucked.
yeah.
You know, but on the flip side, it's a bunch of really cool stuff, you know. I mean, you got Google and all the world's information at your fingertips, and
That's not necessarily reliable at all.
true, but when I'm trying to think of the name of a fucking actor,
Yeah.
or, you know, a particular ammo cartridge for whatever fucking gun I'm looking up, or something else, you know, it's great for that kind of shit. But I mean, like, if you're gonna ask it about the inner workings of the political system of the world, you know, you might be barking up the wrong tree on that
Or
one.
history. Just
or
history.
Oh yeah, most
So
definitely
the thing
history.
is, history's changing as we go forward, and it always has. But it happens so fast. It can happen so fast and be deleted. The thing is, it's like,
Well, you know, there was a book about this, you know.
oh yeah,
Just saying.
it still exists now. It's 1984. Before AI seeps into this podcast and erases that mention.
Yeah, and it's just as relevant as it never was. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of plays on the same things. There's different names for some of the stuff, but I mean, it pretty much is almost the same as it is in the book.
I'm reading a book right now called Time's Monster: How History Becomes History. I think I'll get back into that like another podcast, but it's made me more conscious about the concept that we're looking at time and history differently than what has actually had happened. So your current mindset is what dictates how you use history to understand what's happening now. It's kind of like if you were just a personal history, like, you can look at your childhood being bad, and I'm sure there's bad parts in it, or you can look at it being good. The thing is like, on New Year's Day, you're probably thinking of the good ones. But when you're on your lonesome or you're just like having a Vietnam flashback,
you
know,
think
like,
about all that bad shit. Yeah.
So it's like both can be true, but you're not really able to perceive the whole thing at one moment. So like we could talk about ancient Greece, but we're probably, you know,
Fuck, man, we can go even closer to modern history. I mean, I've told you this a million times. Like, I mean, dude, it took 15 plus years for me to like accept that 9/11 possibly was an inside job, and I'm not even 100% there yet. But like, I've come around to it. I mean, and that's modern history. I've seen it with my own eyes, you know.
You know what's fucked up is like I bet you it works backwards, where you have to look at a recent event to realize
most
further
definitely.
back is even more fucked
most
up.
Most definitely. I mean, because obviously it wasn't a lot different of a situation, you know. In 2001, obviously I was a lot younger, but I mean, yeah, like you see some of the stuff that goes on now, and you're just like, well, they were definitely fucking idiots back then. So I mean, there's no doubt that it could have happened like that. And then I mean, just like the small things, like looking at like Tower 7 and what happened there, and you know,
small things.
Yeah, small things, right? Yeah, small things. You know,
a building burning.
Yeah, just
down.
a building that never got hit by a fucking airplane that managed
just
to
office
collapse.
Fires.
Yeah, just paper burns at 10,000 degrees, I guess. But you know,
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, shit like that. I mean, but then, like I said, you look at recent things like, you know, how fucked up this withdrawal from Afghanistan was, or like why still haven't we seen pictures of dead Osama bin Laden?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, things like this, you know, and 10% for the fucking big guy, and we're just ignoring things that are right in front of your face, you know, and then we're just being told, oh no, this is fake. And so if you think about it, in 2001 we had less ability to control what we thought was the truth then than we do now. And so like if they managed to get away with it back then, I'll look at things that happen now, and it definitely makes sense that, you know, it could have been fucked up or way more fucked up than it was.
Our perception of the past has to be fucked if the present is
well, keep in mind too, man. I think the country in itself, and myself included, was in a lot different mindset back then. I mean, like, I can honestly say I was probably more. I was more apt to say I was proud to be an American in 2001 and 2002 than I am to say I'm proud to be an American now at the last day of this shitty fucking year.
You know, I think I remember the internet was starting to bloom in 2001. Like it's nothing like it is now, nothing like it wasn't even 2009. It's weird, like there's different stages of the internet.
Well, you know, once they figured out computers weren't just going to, like, spontaneously combust into flames and destroy the entire infrastructure of the internet in 2000, then, you know, I guess it just kind of went up since then.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking sidetracked. I don't even want to acknowledge it, but I feel like the internet is like Hulk juice for Alex Jones. Like he predicted.
It's like fucking
9/11
steroid juice for Alex Jones.
And like the more the internet becomes a thing, and it gets more and more like interwoven into reality, he's just like hulking out. But
completely unrelated though. Yes. Did you see just how bad? I mean, I don't know if you watched when Kanye went on Alex Jones the other day.
Yeah, I saw
rarely has there ever been times in, especially I guess in Alex Jones's history, where you could literally feel his uncomfort.
Yes.
During a fucking interview. That was the fucking one, man.
Yeah, and Kanye said, "I love Hitler." I mean, that is the funniest fucking thing ever. No, you don't love Hitler.
Hitler's a piece of shit, I promise.
I wouldn't go around just saying, Kanye, take my advice.
You know, it's pretty bad whenever
I love Sandy Hook.
This is so fucking terrible, bro. Yeah,
I remember back in 2000. That sounds like an edit. Somebody's gonna hear that and be like, "That was an edit." I remember back in 2001, I was at Blockbuster, and the dude was talking to my dad about a missile hit the Pentagon. Like we're checking out, and it was like the cashier video checkout guy, and me being in third grade, like just being like, what, like, this guy. And then so we went to a website he mentioned, and it was like, I'm crazy memory. It was called blacksheep.com, and it was a forum, and they had this video of what didn't look like a.
Well, is that the video from, what is it, like the fucking security check gate or something?
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. And again, I'm not a shill for fucking George Bush or anybody else, but I'm just saying, did not look like a fucking airplane.
No.
I mean, to be honest, it didn't look like anything, and I'm kind of surprised, that like you got a camera that only films every 6 seconds or something from what it looks like. Because I mean, dude, from what it appeared to be, there was like Pentagon, blur, flames, flames.
So
I mean,
here's a funny story.
It's not like you could really see an airplane, but then again, too, you also didn't see a fucking missile either.
It's just the strongest fuselage ever known to man.
Well,
like the fuselage is what. Anyway, I don't want to get in the rabbit hole on that.
No, I understand.
The point on the framework on the frame rate is that it has like 130, like there's like 30 frames per second on that footage or something, or 15 frames a second. But the thing is that there's a frame missing.
Yes,
and
I believe that. And
you have two cameras, and what you have one before. There's like this like rectangle, and you see the rectangle like where the gate comes down. There's another one on the other side of that. But what's funny is the frame that's missing is missing on both of them, and it doesn't match with the latency of that camera. Yeah, well, and then there's all these other hotel cameras that just got sweep. Yeah. So the fact is like, and then on top of that, that plane was going about 2 times as fast as it could at the atmospheric pressure it would have been at that low of an altitude, which is 1, I believe. And it would have ripped the fucking plane off, the wings off the fucking plane.
It's a good possibility. I mean, and from what I understand too, and it could have been a loose change or one of these other documents. I forget which one it was. But like from what I understand, like they clipped a light pole or something on the way in, or it was something like that. So I mean, obviously, I'm not sure how strong the wing is on a commercial airplane like that, or what it was, but it just seemed really fucking sus.
The fuselage is so fucking strong, it just penetrated 2 walls and then fucking...
I mean, I can sort of believe it, but at the same time, like,
You got planes that are burying themselves.
Yeah, well, like, I watched one of them, and it had, like, a computer-animated sequence or whatever of how far it penetrated, where some of the debris went. And like some of it looks sort of believable, but at the same time, I'm kind of with them on the fact that it's like, okay, well, there's no damage on the outside from the wings of the airplane at all, like even just a little bit. I understand like the fuselage being a cylindrical object could have gone through possibly, but you would expect at least some kind of fucking...
The fuselage is the weakest fucking part of the plane.
To an extent, yes. I mean, to an extent. From what I understand, again, I'm not a fucking structural engineer, so don't anybody get on my shit about this.
I'm not a structural engineer and very confident that the fuselage is not strong. Well,
I'm just saying, we're literally 2 idiots with a podcast called fucking Weed and Guns talking about the structural integrity of aircraft. And
Pabloverse.
neither of us have a fucking college degree, by the way, so I'm just going to throw that out there. But I'm just saying, from a sensical standpoint, like, you would at least expect to see, I don't know, maybe like at least a 4-foot fucking crack coming from the left and right side on the outside of the building where the wings...
The thing is the fuel, so much fucking tons of fuel is held in those wings.
Is exactly.
Just the kinetic energy of that.
Exactly. Yeah, and you would, I mean, I guess you would expect to see the big fireball on the outside like you did on the video if the wings kind of collapsed and fuel ignited and whatnot, but I don't know. I would have expected a little bit more damage. Yeah. Or something, and like I said, I'm not saying that it was a missile or anything, but I don't know. It could have been.
I wish like there was a movie about Larry Silverstein, and just like a dramatic movie with no hint of irony, that like he shows up every day to work, but the day that he has a meeting in the top building, the top floor restaurant, he doesn't show up because his wife said he needed to go to a dermatology appointment. So he fucking
Say, bro, you're sounding like Kanye over here, but calm down with that, and you're just talking about the JOOs.
That's I meant silver min. No,
Oh,
no, that doesn't work either. I actually was trying. It all comes back.
Are you trying to say something about the J word, sir?
Alfred. I feel like what was funny was I got on YouTube for about, I don't know, a few hours on and off, and I found myself wanting to watch a movie, like something that wasn't like attention. Okay, I can talk. Let's go back to the technology thing.
Okay.
Commandeering it. I watched a Mr. Beast video for about 5 seconds, and a million things happened, and that's when I was like, dude, this fucking editing is literally like rotting people's minds. Imagine when the TV came out and they said the TV's gonna rot your mind. I remember hearing that when I grew up, like, the TV's gonna rot your mind. Dude, this fucking shit is the pace of the editing is so fast. It's like, we're gonna crush a Lamborghini with a hydraulic press. Wow, this jet fueled Mustang just bust through 5 buses, and it's like you just spent like $2 million in 10 seconds.
No, you're right.
And you
You're right.
edited this shit so fast that the stimuli of that never.
It creates like an unreal expectation of reality to an extent.
It does. And then the other part of it, I feel like, is like if you're sitting without a phone, think about how I think if you think about how you use your phone, it probably mirrors exactly this because you are your thoughts. But like, I've been able to think more clearly with a flip phone. I've actually let myself get a smartphone, but I barely use it for anything. And it's like your mind will be like, or at least my mind is like, yeah, you should eat a burger. And the other part of my mind's like, no, you shouldn't eat a burger. It's like, eat something light. You could eat something, like there's this and but, like to the mind. Like, it's like, oh, I'll do this. Oh no, well maybe it's considering. It's just like that's how consideration works, I think. But with this shit with the editing, it's like, we're gonna crush a hydraulic press. Should we do it? Crush. We just did. And it's just like it never allows the mind of the viewer to have a thought about what it's seeing. To
True.
actually think and process what's happening. So what ends up happening is like the video's thinking for you.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you're just like,
Well, don't forget the end of the video, too. Last person to let their hands off of such said crushed Ferrari gets to keep it. So
yeah.
Yeah. Touche.
I don't know. That's my paranoid old man rambling. If you have the choice to live forever with technology,
Ooh.
do you want to die a man or live forever as a droid?
Are we talking like Black Mirror type shit where we're living forever in some type of like computer hard drive as a simulation? Or are we talking about like living through technology in the physical world forever?
I don't know if you get to choose. That's the thing.
Well, I think
I think you make one choice and then it landslides into another choice.
Well, I think about after 150 years, I'd probably be tired of everyone's shit, and I'd just be like, someone put a bullet in me, please.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I'm almost 34 years into this, and I kind of want to eat a bullet when I talk to some people. So, yeah. I'd imagine 150 is probably about as max as I want to go.
Imagine those people had the Neuralink, and they're able to not be so stupid.
They would still be stupid. Like,
Thank you.
Have you seen the new, new Beavis and Butthead movie?
No.
Okay, so the premise.
this is what's going to be.
It's fucking great.
Okay.
It's fucking great. So, like, in this movie, they meet a version of themselves from the multiverse, and it's the smartest version of Beavis and Butthead ever in the multiverse. And they're still fairly fucking stupid.
Right.
But they're the smartest version of Beavis and Butthead. And so if you think about it, imagine your average moron, but the smartest version of that moron. But they're still stupid.
Okay. Okay, that sounds interesting.
So like, I don't know if I'd want to live with that, I mean, because in reality, you're still dealing with idiots, and morons who really don't. I mean, like at the base layer, they're still stupid.
Right.
It's kind of rough.
Well, we have that now. We have that now. I guess like with Google. Google's an extension of your brain.
Yes.
Like, so if Google can figure out what your thought before that thought was, then it already reads your mind. Like if you go like who was the guy that played Napoleon Dynamite? And they're like, yeah, we know every motherfucker that asked who this John Heater was thinking about vote for Pedro first, and then we know that that's tied to democracy. So we're gonna I don't know how that works, but it's like it just builds a network off your last thought, and you keep checking in with it every day. It can probably start figuring out how people think in general. But dumb people, like their end all be all is Google, is what social media is TikTok, and the abundance of information is not necessarily good. And that's the thing where I'm like, this Neuralink shit, it's like you think you have a choice. Like if you put the Neuralink chip in your brain to get extra bandwidth, it's like, wouldn't Neuralink at some point just block the thought of not buying the rest of the products?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it could, or it could just be like the fucking Matrix, Like I know kung fu. I mean, I mean, you'd like to think so. I mean, but at the same time, from what I understand, like Elon's in trouble for murdering monkeys and shit with the Neuralink testing.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Wow.
he got in trouble for well, I don't know if he got in trouble directly, but 'cause, I mean, obviously, like it's not like Elon's in fucking Neuralink's headquarters cutting open the head of monkeys and shit.
Could be.
I mean, like
I don't want to look. I'm not a scientist. Elon Musk could probably be. It's definitely killing chimpanzees.
Yeah, well, his company is killing chimpanzees for
It's
sure.
Elon Musk.
I mean,
It's his own hands.
I mean, look, bro.
Look here. Elon Musk is fucking killing chimpanzees with his own hands, like Fauci did the fucking beagles. Bagel beagles.
Fucking sandfly cages.
What if they're like in the same Chinese
Jesus Christ.
factory? They're just like one door removed.
In this room, we have beagles with sandflies with their vocal cords removed, and in this room, we have chimpanzees with Neuralink playing Pong.
It's the Jews. they tapped into the Kanye internet. Like the first thing.
Man, it's like the fucking AI in charge of Neuralink. It's just like, it's the Jews. And it's just like, oh shit. The monkeys are just sitting there, just like, oh fuck, man, it's the Jews.
When I went on YouTube, one of the first videos I saw was like, it was this guy called Leather Apron Club, and he did a video about like how everybody talks about the Greeks being gay, but actually here's some quotes from Plato. He hates fags, and I was like, oh, okay, like big difference. And then the next video, like, so then I'm scrolling through videos, and he suggested to me again because I watched that video. You know how it works. And it was like 75% of Lex Friedman's guests have this in common. I went, no, he's not about to do it. I clicked the video. Yes, they're Jews. It's like, I'm like, damn, he's going down that road. That was quick.
Hey, look, man, I can't say anything because I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really like Lex Friedman, and despite, I mean, despite what people say, like I listen to the man, and I see somebody who has kind thoughts, like pure intentions, and I truly think the guy is just, he loves robots and technology, and he wants to share that love and appreciation for sophistication with the rest of the people who just don't happen to have 150 plus IQ. But yes. I mean, are
you saying Kanye doesn't have 170 IQ?
Look, man, I'm saying he makes great music, but his his style of delivery lacks a little bit of like
he's ahead of him.
candor.
That's yes. He has
say
no
the least.
decorum.
No, not
But
at
the
all.
thing is like that's the irony is that's why he is a great artist, because what he can't put in words, he uses music and art for. So that's why that's why he's good at what he does. But then when if you could explain everything you thought without a metaphor, you would be Lex Friedman. If you couldn't do that,
True,
you would be
true.
Kanye.
Well, this is very true. I'm not gonna lie though, dude. Like I've listened to some of the Kanye interviews, like whether it be with like Alex Jones or Lex Friedman, and man, there's a couple times in which like like when it gets so rough to listen to, like where you gotta just like turn it down or hit the pause button because you're just like, Jesus, man, there's some serious friction going on here.
Yes.
And even though they may not acknowledge it in the podcast, like Alex Jones, like not visibly, but like probably mentally squirming in his seat like, Jesus Christ, dude, like I'm already going fucking bankrupt over Sandy Hook, and this son of a bitch is over here talking about I love Hitler, and it's just like, what the fuck, man?
Well, the thing I remember in kindergarten. Wow. So I'm going back before 9/11. I was in third grade when 9/11 happened. And
I think I was in like 5th grade or something when that happened.
Yeah, you know how cynical I am even as a kid when they're like, a plane crashed into a building. I was like, who gives a fuck? Don't planes crash all the time? Why are we stopping now? And then that's my thought as the third grader. But in kindergarten, I remember my religion teacher said, I love Saddam Hussein. And we're like, what? And she was like, I love everybody. That's my job, is to love everybody. And I think that's what Kanye was doing, but he also knew the response he would get by saying, I love Hitler. He's like, I love Hitler. It's not a crime to love Hitler. I love Hitler. Because he knows both sides of it. He's like, I hate nobody. I don't hate anyone.
Well, it's just rough because like having read the audio version of Mein Kampf, my two biggest takeaways, or three, I guess, is that like Hitler's a whiny bitch, and that's just, I mean, like, and again, like I've never written a book, so I'm not shitting on the man as far as like writing a book, but like, motherfucker, dude, all he does is bitch in the first like 70% of this fucking book, okay? And then the second and third thing I got from is that he hates Jews and he hates black people, so I'm pretty sure that like, had Kanye have maybe, I don't know. I mean, look, the man's a fucking, well, he was a billionaire before, but
we don't know. Yeah,
I mean, who knows?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we don't count Saudi princes on the list of top richest people,
true.
so I mean, I don't know what Kanye's got.
Or
I'm pretty
some
sure,
of the Jays.
Yeah, I mean, or some of the Jays. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's probably got more money than most fucking people do. But I mean, it just seems to me, fuck, I don't even remember what the hell I was talking about. But like, he just, I don't know. I think if he would have read the fucking book, he'd be like, he wouldn't be saying, I love Hitler. Because, I mean, like, look.
He's playing the game, though. He
knows
what he's not supposed to say.
I know. I know.
He's
He's doing it for the effect of people fucking listening to him and saying something controversial in that way. But, like, bro, you're not doing yourself any favors because, like, look, man, I mean, like, you could talk about, like, Jews are fucking me over and shit, and it may or may not be true to an extent, or it could just be coincidentally true that they all just happen to be fucking Jews. But like, like, I think we can all pretty much universally agree that baking people in an oven is not good. Killing a specific race of people, regardless of what you think about them, is not good. Like, just killing people in general is not good. And so to be like, I love Hitler, you could say that on a Christian level and be like, look, God loves Hitler regardless of what he did.
I love
Hitler. You know,
they killed 6 million Christians by starvation.
And you could say the same thing about Mao, and you could say the
who
same thing about Stalin.
Who are the Bolsheviks?
Yeah, I mean, I feel you, man. I feel you. It just seems shitty.
The argument between Lex Friedman and Kanye West got me to a level where I could see the points that Kanye was making, and plenty of them were legitimate, and I could see Lex Friedman's apprehension and his points as well. I can't remember any Lex Friedman's points, but I remember thinking like, okay, Lex, I'm with you. But the thing is that they were both. I watched both of them, and I could see that neither of them, that they were both suffering each other. that both of them
Yeah.
thought that they were putting up with the other guy. And what's funny was the moment that becomes clear that Kanye is also suffering Lex Friedman is when Lex Friedman puts the little Jew pointer finger and goes, "You should have listened to your father." And that's when I was like, "Ooh boy!" Like what Lex Friedman just did was show his hand that he has a familial allegiance,
Right.
and that is with the Jews. And you should have listened to your father and stayed away from this. And it's like that was the bitch made move that Lex Friedman did, but that is at the foundation of what Lex Friedman's all talking points is that you should have listened to your father. I respect my father. You should have listened to your father and not fucking talked about the Jews, which is my father. You shouldn't have done that. Blah, blah, blah. And I could see both of their subconscious in that conversation and both very defensive. And the thing is that the beautiful the where you could see that even more was when Kanye just breaks the fourth wall. Kanye can break the fourth wall. When he broke the fourth wall was he says, "I'm not one of your BLM marchers." So what's he talking about? George Soros funds BLM marchers. That's what Kanye West is talking about. He's talking about I'm not one of the puppets of the Jewish masters. That's from his point of view. That's the way he's seeing it. And then Lex Friedman goes, "You should have listened to your father." Well, it's not in that order, but Lex Friedman then says at some point, he goes, "You know what? I agree with you. Some organizations misuse tragedy." And at that point, I wish Kanye would have been like, "That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Jews misusing tragedy." Yeah.
No doubt.
And that was the point where it could have. And then he goes, "You need to stop saying that." And he goes, "Well, you need to stop sweeping what you do your people do under the rug." And the thing is I would have some sympathy and say both of this is not right because you need to look at people as individuals. But
Right.
Jews team up with each other as a team,
No
and
doubt.
that's fine. I respect that. But everyone should be able to team up as a team. But Jews will go and write the thing about critical race theory, and they'll teach it all in a theory. And you know what? I think Lex Friedman has Jewish fragility. I just think Lex Friedman has Jewish fragility.
I mean,
because just the same way that I have white fragility, he has Jewish fragility. If
So-
that is true.
So what I would equivocate this to is like, and again, like nobody's talking shit about the Italians, but I'm going to bring them up in this, right?
Mhm.
So at one point in time, we all know this, that like the Italians controlled most of Europe, right? And it wasn't by being nice. It was because they invaded people's shit, killed everybody, took their stuff, and set up a fucking permanent outpost. So like the Italians controlled most of Europe at one point in time.
Right.
They pretty much invented killing motherfuckers as a sport, But yet here we are, 2,000 years later, nobody's talking about how much they hate the fucking Italians. Even though you could you could equivocate, or
But to be fair, the big difference there is that the Italians had Christendom.
True.
And Christendom allowed all people of many different cultures and ethnicities to have salvation and a narrative within a society. Jews are not allowing people to be a part of their society. They have a whole country where they have an ethno-state, and no one else is allowed to have that, and that's what Hitler wanted.
True.
And,
and that's understandable, and I can definitely see the contradictions there and the fucked up part of that. It definitely makes sense. Totally understandable. And like I said, I mean, you don't see people hating the Italians over the shit they did. Kind of like you don't see the general hate going to the Chinese over what Mao did, or you don't see the general hate for going to the Russians what Stalin did. But so I could get where Lex Friedman comes from, where like if he just so happens to be from a Jewish background, and so I mean. Obviously, he's trying not to, shit on his heritage, and I totally get it.
I get it.
And I mean, look, man, because like, do I believe that Lex Friedman, being the descendants of Jews, and I don't know if he's Jewish himself now. I mean, he might be, and I don't know if he's
that's
practicing.
Where the game,
well, but that's the thing. But I don't know.
Oh.
I don't see him. I don't know if he's a practicing Jew or if he just so happens to be Jewish in descendants.
What's
or
the
whatnot.
differentiation for you?
Well, I mean, like one of them actually. I mean, like. Hear me out, okay?
I'm hearing.
I'm of Italian descent, Polish descent. The majority of my family is Catholic. I am not Catholic. I'm not a practicing Catholic.
What if Italian and Catholic was the same thing?
Again, I'm
you
not,
would be practicing because then you
well, possibly, but maybe not. So I mean, so if Italian and Catholic was synonymous and they were the same exact thing, I'm of Italian descent, but I'm not a practicing Catholic. I mean, I identify as a Christian, but do I go to church? Not as much as I should. But
Right.
I would say definitively, like, yes, I am a Christian. I'm not Catholic.
Right.
But at the same time, I think, especially being of Russian descent and Jewish in his framework, they, I mean, yeah, Jewish, sure, but not exactly the same kind of Jew that you would look at like someone from Israel. You wouldn't see them the same as you looked at like a Russian Jew or a Polish Jew or something like that. Because I mean, obviously those are two distinct, different kinds of Jewish people. I mean, of the same type of religion, but two different kinds of people. And so, I mean,
That's true.
do I think Lex has a some type of secret
Affinity?
agenda or affinity to
He
push
has an
things?
affinity.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. His affinity is all over robots and science, and I want everyone to appreciate
But
the
he just
wonders
happens
of
to talk to
technology.
75% of Jews.
Hey, man, I mean, look.
That's his friends,
Okay,
and that's
no,
who his friends are.
I get
And
it,
I have
I get it.
Italian
Okay,
friends.
okay.
I'm Italian. I have
True,
Italian friends, and
true.
I like hanging out with Italian people generally more.
But
hear
me
'cause I
out.
have more in common.
Hear
We
me,
have the
hear
same
me out, though,
mannerisms.
bro. I mean, and again, I could be wrong here,
Yeah.
and this is generalizing and
By the way,
everything.
this whole time I'm not saying anything's wrong with Lex Friedman doing that. I'm saying that's awesome that he does that, and I'm glad he likes those people and those people serve his podcast or whatever.
I'm just saying, if you wanted to talk to the world's foremost experts in mathematics, I'm going to almost assure you that they are mostly all of one race.
Asian.
Shocker. You're racist.
But he'll only interview the Jews, though.
True. And look, and if you were going to talk to the world's foremost experts in art, you would probably talk to maybe the French or the Italians or something like that. If you were going to talk to the world's foremost experts in classic theater, you'd probably speak to the Russians. If I mean, each country has their own specific thing that maybe they're known for or that they're really good at, and it just so happens to be that the Jews are just pretty good at everything they get into. And again,
I think I know what the Jews are good at. I think
they're good at organizing. I think they're good at the financial status of things, and
they're good at organizing because they work with themselves.
Well, true.
But the thing is that I think the Jews are really good, and their talent is I'm trying to think the right way to phrase it. It's value. They understand value, whether it be language, and they're great at running propaganda or story. Both are both are the same to me. When I say propaganda, I mean like Hollywood movies. They're good at that. They're good at the finance behind it because they understand the value of money.
Or they might just they might just have all the fucking money. I mean,
well, the thing is that they didn't never for a long time they didn't have a homeland yet. They didn't integrate. So when they had to know value, they had to know the value of everybody's money to then become merchants, to then handle trade, and then they got into diamonds. They understand the value.
Of course.
So I think if you do that for how many generations, then you'll probably get people of a descent that innately understands value and language because money is language to a level that is just and especially when you ride on top of all the infrastructure of all the other families before that and generations before that would have built that. That's my Jimmy the Greek moment on
that's very true.
Jews. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, they could be better at certain things that other people are, and again, like, I think it comes down to like finances and understanding money and the power of money and influence and things. And I mean, look, maybe they're just better at it than most people are. I mean, like,
sure.
Look, man,
people are allowed to be good at things, and certain people are better at certain things.
Yeah, look, man. I mean, like, it's not racist shit or anything. It's just like, look, dude, if you're looking for the world's foremost athletes, you certainly ain't looking at fucking white dudes. I'm just saying, like,
there's a reason why Larry Bird exists still, like in the consciousness, and there's a reason why. Drum roll. Why Neil deGrasse Tyson is part of the conversation, because they're like, wow, that's different. That's unexpected.
I'm just saying, man, like fucking, like I said, if you're looking at athletes, like you're not looking at white dudes, bro. Like we're not there. I mean,
Right.
and again, it's like there's another race. It's like we're not fast. We're not we're not athletic. A lot of us are overweight, fat, pudgy.
I tell you what it's about. It's the quick twitch muscle fibers. We ain't got it.
Well, yeah, I mean, facts. It's true shit, though. I mean, we ain't got that shit. I mean, like, look, dude, if you look at the world's topmost athletes, I mean, most of them, not white dudes.
Right.
Kind of like if you look at the world's smartest people, not white dudes. I mean, it just is what it is.
You don't think it's white dudes?
No.
I mean, I think
Asians, bro. Like they own that shit.
If
dude.
we're measuring IQ, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
true.
they're just better.
More often than not.
Look, and I'm not saying like white people don't have a thing that we're good at, because like I'm sure we do. Like maybe it's music, or maybe it's like
building societies.
That's fucked up. But I mean, no, that's not even true, because if you look at it, dude, like some of the most sophisticated societies to ever exist, I mean, we're not always white people. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, like, do you think about it? Like, look at the Japanese, or look at the Chinese, look at the Egyptians, look at the South Americans, the Mayans. Like,
well, the Egyptians were Mediterranean; they weren't black.
True. Okay,
they were more like Italians.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
if they're not white, then Italians.
But I'm just saying, they ain't white people, and like we don't have 2,000-year-old pyramids from white people that we look at as a wonder of the world. We have. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that we're not like if you look at like organized religion, like Catholicism and stuff, like okay, you could say right that could have been mostly white people there. All right,
it's probably part of society. Though. The thing is that there's no other people who make a society that's inclusive. So we could talk about racism.
Oh, well, as far as inclusive societies, no, you are completely correct. Like white people don't do that.
Do it.
Or no, you're right. Yeah,
it's a sin if white people want to be with white people.
Well,
so
maybe the natural state of white people is not to be with other white people.
That might be true.
I mean, look, dude, I'm not gonna lie. On my list of insufferable people, white people are like the top 5. So I'm just saying. So like, you may have a point there. Like, if you gave me an option, like, who do you want to hang out with for the day? Like, probably not going to be who you'd think. Yeah. Because I mean, there's a lot of white people who are just fucking insufferable, man. They're miserable sons of bitches. It's
to be fair,
too much negativity, man.
Statistical analysis is like, well, the majority of people are white because you're in America. So then the majority.
Well, are they though? I mean, look,
that you might be.
We're from the South. Okay.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you went to a Catholic school. I did not. I went to public school. So, I mean, 60-70% of my school was black kids. So, I mean, if you ask me, like, who are the majority of people that I know and what skin color are they, I probably know a lot more black people than I do white people. And, I mean, unless you're counting family. But that's not knowing someone. You're related to them.
Look, I gotta take a shot at black people. Why do you have to put your phone on so loud? It's your phone, but why do you do that? That's a question. If you're a listener, a black listener, send a letter and tell me why. Just send some fan mail and tell me why that TikTok has to be so loud, and also why the music in the video that you're watching doesn't spark any self-consciousness. Like maybe I should turn this down because it's talking about sucking dick and trifling hoes. I'm just wondering. So you can send
no,
video.
You do have a point there.
But no, that's just a little footnote. Asterisk.
I don't know. Does that like qualify for the rest of the United States, or is that only in the
totally.
South? Or...
No. That is
it's
definitely
only a South thing, or what?
Yeah, there's definitely white people that do that too. But that's if we were looking at ratio. If we look at ratio of Lex Freeman's guess, we could definitely look at the ratio of
just cannot let the Jews go, bro. They are just target number 1 in 2022. Who would have ever thought of all the Holocaust teachings of middle school?
They tried really
school.
hard to make us never bash the Jews again. It's had the adverse effect in the internet age. It's like you go like, I'm on the internet. I can say whatever I want. What's the one thing I can't talk about? Oh, I'm gonna talk about that.
I mean, I just feel like shit though sometimes because like I get it, man. Like, look, dude, if I was a Jew and I'm just like over here minding my own business to trying to fucking survive, and then like everybody's like, yeah, fuck these Jews, they control everything, and I'm like, but I'm eating ramen. Like, I'd probably be like, fuck these people too.
Yeah, that's the Jewish fragility. You're talking about Jewish fragility. The Jewish people who talk about white fragility and make studies of it.
Well, but if that's the case, I mean, like, do I have white fragility then? Because I get offended when people generalize white people all in the same.
Well,
fuck. Well, then we should just call it human fragility instead of just
yes.
racial fragility. It's just
you
no one
got
likes to be shit on.
You got to my point. That's exactly the point I'm making.
I'm just saying, like, no one likes to get shit on, like, regardless of what religion or ethnicity you are. I mean, like, if you're gonna sit there and just generalize, and it's just like, you know, if you're just like, oh yeah, I'm like, all you white people have all this money and all this influence, and I'm just over here like, I have 2 jobs and I'm broke. Fuck you guys. You know, I mean, like, yeah, I could totally see that. Just, and again, just like
the funny part is though, well, like, we have a half Jewish friend, and the funny thing is the half Jewish. All the people I know that are half Jewish.
Who's this Jewish?
I'm not.
Okay. Gotcha.
The thing is that all these people that I know that are half Jewish. Before,
we even call him Jew, and he's half Jew, which is kind of funny.
Well, the irony is, I don't even know. I never asked him, but you're only half Jewish if your mom's Jewish.
I think his dad's Jewish.
Yeah, so he's not half Jewish.
So what is he then?
He's nothing.
Oh, well, what the?
That's not my rule. That's the Jewish rule.
Wait, that's bullshit. Because
okay, I'll explain why. By the Jewish logic, the Jewish logic is you're not Jewish if your dad's Jewish because your mom can be a whore, and Jewish is about the bloodline, which is why it gets very complicated. These topics. So,
are we sure about this?
Yes, absolutely sure. If your mom is Jewish, then you are half Jewish because they can prove you came from your mom. But if your dad's Jewish and your mom's not Jewish, then you're not half Jewish because your mom might be a whore and slept with another man.
But isn't this why blood tests exist?
This is why some rabbis in Israel want genetic testing for Israeli citizenship. Yes. Yeah, I mean, come on, bro. I get, but the point I was making was all the friends I have that would say I'm half Jewish are very quiet right now, and it's almost like the reason that they used to bring up saying like I'm half Jewish is no longer a positive or like it's not worth the wait. So they're like, yeah, I'm white. It's like, oh, how quickly the tides have turned. How quickly it's not a benefit to be Jewish. And it took one guy named Ye, formerly known as Kanye, to do it. So it's just kind of, I find that funny because there was a benefit. There was a benefit where you wanted to tell me that. Now it's like, I never said that.
Well, I don't know. Was that? I guess it was just before they just started raping everybody in Hollywood, and now it's not cool anymore. I guess. So, what was the purpose of this podcast? About this wasn't about shitting on Jews. I think.
No.
I mean, I very well could be wrong, but
the purpose is that in this dichotomy of Jewish, not Jewish, we have become actors in somebody else's play, and there's obviously things much more important than race or religion, but we've become actors in somebody else's play. So I wanted to talk about how that happens.
Doing just the storytelling aspect of everything?
Yes, the storytelling aspect of thing and how we get trapped up in other people's stories. So we have this guy who is Bernard Ludwig Dreyfus. Hold on. So I got this guy named Bernard Ludwig Dreyfus. He basically came up with this idea around I think it was like I think he was working from like the 1920s, 1940s or some shit.
Okay.
But he started to study plays. Okay. And he was from I think he was Swedish, but he lived in Germany, and he started realizing that all these plays, that the evolution of the play and the evolution of art, because before movies there was theater, and he saw that theater should be something that talks about the audience. So the only reason why you make a play is to make commentary on the audience. That was his avant-garde idea.
What year was this?
Dude, this is like 1940s.
Okay.
So, and he's Jewish, by the way. So great segue.
Shocker. What is this?
So he ended up inspiring Victor Hesser. And Victor Hesser is the guy who's known for this weird shit right here.
What is that?
This was the play or opening ceremony to the Gothard Base Tunnel, which is the longest tunnel in the world. Some people believe that the Gothard Base Tunnel is where the Hadron Collider is in Sweden, but it's not. That's a fuck up, because we could see right here. Look at the video. This is his play. I edited like a couple images.
This is like the you said the
Opening
ceremony for
ceremony.
opening the tunnel.
Yes.
So what's with the horse and carriage and all these?
Thank you.
Yeah, this is kind of strange.
Yes. Very weird, right? And I'm going to skip through parts of it.
What is that supposed to be?
Yeah, they're just opening the largest underground tunnel like in the world, but no big deal. Just random fucking jazzercise going on.
This almost reminds me of like that commercial that New York did for bringing back the arts in in the middle of COVID.
Oh wow!
You know, and it was just like, it was like it was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. It was like some play with like interpretive dance or something. It was like, we're bringing back New York, the most important part. Meanwhile, people are like, still being forced to take a fucking vaccine or, still getting fired from their jobs and shit.
Have you seen a baby angel before while dancing sex slaves gyrate?
Baby angel?
Yeah. You're about to see a baby angel.
She has definitely got a mouthful of titty there.
She did. She definitely did.
Okay.
Baby angel. Oh, great.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's your Apple software.
That's my okay, so baby angel doing its best to derail our shit.
Fucking Apple, bro. That's why you should get Android.
Describe what we're seeing right now as I respond to a text.
You are seeing a bunch of degenerates with baby powder in their hair, and a bunch of slaves in orange uniforms pushing this big cart, and
a baby angel.
Is that a baby?
It's a baby angel.
It's
got a big crying baby head on it.
They said this is the Swedes?
Yes. And then watch what happens. So as I said,
now
as
hold on.
I said about Bernard.
But before we go any further into this,
yes.
What does any of this have to do with the tunnel? Because this is literally the gayest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And mind you, by the way, I may point out, I see no black people in this. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that, like, maybe you guys are on the right track.
So now all these people come out, and you have to think about the audience. Just like I talked about Bernard, and he inspired this guy, Victor Hess, who made a writing about Bernard. We know this guy who made this play really loves Bernard. So as the play is supposed to talk about the...
Wait, that was actually a play?
Well, it's a march.
Yeah, that looked like a bunch of like.
So but I have a point here.
If this video pretty much looks like if you could describe what BO smells like in a video, this is probably it.
This is probably Uptown.
I would almost be willing to bet 60% of these women have armpit hair.
Oh, fucking undoubtedly.
Yeah, maybe more.
Undoubtedly. But the thing is that Bernard Ludwig, or whatever his name was, inspired Victor Hess. And Victor Hess wrote wrote a what do you call it when you graduate from college and you have to write that fucking paper? I'm going blank.
Like a thesis?
Yeah, he wrote a thesis on this. Now the thing is that once you have the thought about making a play only for the audience to critique the audience, then the next step is what Victor Hess has come up with this idea that the play should break the boundary between the audience and make the audience part of the act. So that's why at the end of this march, what they end up doing is bringing all these dudes who just watch Baby Angels and all this like weird, ridiculous shit join the march and walk out with them. And there's some dude that looks like Janet Yellen walking right there. But this is basically what I'm trying to illustrate, that the line between art and culture that it critiques and then enlists to make it has become blurred so far that it's kind of hard to know if you're watching the play or in the play. And I'm about to talk about the implications about that. So yeah, look, this was a scene where they're starting to bring everybody in. And there is a conspiracy about it. Like I said, they think that a lot of people misconstrue this to be the opening to the Hadron Collider, where they found a God particle. Not true. It's not. If you look on this map,
I hate to tell you this, when I look at that group of people, the last thing I think of is like theoretical physicist, scientist with a Hadron Collider.
But if you but the thing is that it's the largest underground tunnel, and the Hadron Collider needs a tunnel to operate, so people have conflated the two.
But haven't they like posted like Google Maps images of the Hadron Collider?
Thank you.
Like, is there really any reason to make this into some type of conspiracy theory? Like, maybe it's just a fucking train tunnel.
Well,
with a bunch of yuppies with armpit hair celebrating with baby angels and weird shit.
Well, on Google, someone has named the point of this tunnel Lucifer.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So I'm just, I just...
Is this a white person, too?
You know what? Yes, it's probably
so.
Add that top 6.
I'm just going to go ahead and take a guess and say I'm most probably right.
Now, I have here the markings of both locations. You can see that they're very far apart.
Hold on 1 second. Before we get any further into this.
Yes.
Watching all these white people doing dumb shit I have to piss.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right. We had to take a piss break. So what I was pointing out was these two tunnels, or the tunnel location and the Hadron Collider, are like super far apart. That's what this image is showing.
Okay.
But the thing is that it's like the mega irony of the first guy, the Bernard dude, was that he saw so there's like Bernard, then there's Victor Hess. Bernard inspired Victor Hess. And Bernard, like, he saw what was happening in art. Like, so he was basically like, oh, art only exists to reference the public. That's the new idea of the zeitgeist. And from there, he just kept like building upon that. And he was living in Germany, but he's from Zurich, I believe. And he wanted more order in society, because he started seeing like the Weimar Republican type shit. And he actually supported Hitler. And then Hitler was like, fuck the Jews. And then he had to move back to Zurich. Because there was like a worker ban. So then, on the Jews. So then he goes back to Zurich. And that inspires this guy from Zurich. And then they open a tunnel in Zurich. It's like kind of crazy.
Is Hess is he a J word?
I don't know. I don't know if Hess is. I don't know. But the thing is,
it's definitely a German last name, or at least it sounds like it.
But the thing is that you've seen the idea evolve from that theater exists only to make commentary on the audience watching it. Then he took that idea, wrote a thesis. Victor Hess took that idea, wrote a thesis on it, and was like, oh, the idea is not only to reference the audience, But to incorporate the audience, that's why you see at the end of this thing, they start pulling everybody in. So you basically just watch like baby angels and the most weird shit, and you're sitting there, and then you get pulled into it, and like it's like you're reluctantly walking with the parade. Like it's fucking weird as shit.
But it almost seems like a moronic interpretation of that whole thing, because, like, again, after watching it, I'm left with the question of what does baby angels and white women with armpit hair have to do at the opening of a tunnel?
Dude, why did these people pay this guy to do that?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Right.
like the
Yeah,
even
true,
weirder
true,
thing. Like
true.
it's like, what the fuck? So there's something to it because they paid for it, and they all checked off. Like, yeah, that's great. There was so many times.
Like someone had to proofread this concept
Multiple
before they
times.
signed off on it.
There were so many decision makers, and they all end up going yes. And how we could say that all the time.
Look, man, dumb old me would have just said, hey, let's just have the fucking mayor come up, give a little opening speech, and we cut the ribbon, and fucking done. Cool, tunnel's open. We saved everyone a bunch of mind rot, and there's, no half-naked babies with angel wings and baby powder and weird shit.
What about, we could say that about modern shows. Like, what about She-Hulk? Have you heard about She-Hulk?
I've heard, but not seen it, other than the fact that I understand it was supposed to be like a dismal disaster.
Yeah, so here's She-Hulk. Here she is twerking.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, so the thing about She-Hulk is it was made basically like, here's Variety Fair. But let me mean Variety.
So is she supposed to be essentially not interpreting but kind of mimicking what the audience is, which is technically a bunch of idiots, and so they're incorporating the audience by letting her do something stupid like twerking or...
See, you're so close. So I'm just going to read this Variety thing because before I was tipsy, I saved these things because I thought they were important.
Okay.
Throughout She-Hulk, attorney at law Jennifer Walters, a.k.a. She-Hulk, repeatedly breaks the fourth wall, not by only addressing the camera, but acknowledging she exists in a Marvel Studios superhero TV show. Wow. In the season finale, pointedly titled, Who Show Is This?, Jennifer smashes out of the show entirely, jumping out through Disney Plus portal and confront the writers of the show why the finale is so needlessly convoluted and extraneous. Nonsensical plot lines, including one about a cabal of toxic fanboys who troll Jennifer online about being a female superhero who doesn't deserve her powers. Okay, so what you can deduce from that is that there was a bunch of outrage about the show, and they purposely made a shitty show to start the outrage so they can comment on the shitty fans.
I'm glad we did this podcast with booze.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
no, I do.
So it starts from saying like, okay, you make plays and art to comment on the audience. Then it's like you make plays to then incorporate the audience. Then it's like you make shitty shows to make people mad and then vindicate you for making a shitty show.
Is this kind of shitting on the audience at the same time? I mean,
you make a show that otherwise people would love, but you make it shitty so you could shit on them. So then the next part is, in addition to breaking the fourth wall, the finale tackles some exact same trolling comments the Marvel fans had been making. How did it feel to watch it happen as the show aired, knowing that the finale would turn out? So this is like the writer. Jessica Gao is a genius, and she shows about culture we're living in, and her position in it is that she's writing these stories about a woman superhero. She knows that what the response is going to be. As a cast, it was delightful sending each other these troll responses like, oh my God, give them a week and they're going to literally see this pop up verbatim in the show and become villains of the show. It was thrilling. So basically they're like, we're going to do something shitty, and we know that people are going to say something shitty about it, and we're so smart. No, you're not smart. You just made a shitty show. You just made a shitty show, and people said how it was shitty, and you think you're smart. The last thing. How did it feel to accurately predict what the trolls would be saying? Our writer's room opened up 3 years ago. The fact that we were able to predict what the reaction was going to be, what a lot of the trolling comments were going to be, really shows how very tired and unoriginal these trolls are. It really tickled me because...
that works two ways, I'm just saying.
Boy, does it. It's like... I'm
It
gonna
just goes to show how fucking stupid these writers are and how little imagination they have to just continuously do the same shit that we know that people fucking hate and have no physical or emotional connection to, but we're going to continue to do it because we're pieces of shit.
If we make She-Hulk twerk as a lawyer in a lawyer pantsuit, we're gonna be so right when somebody complains about this being stupid. It's like, no, you did something stupid. You shit your pants in public. Don't be so fucking proud that when someone says, wow, it smells like you shit your pants, you be like, I knew you'd say that. No, you shit your pants in public. That's not something to be proud about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all know what their reactions to Jackass was going to be when we saw it. We're just like, oh yeah, people are going to be like, ooh, fuck. You know, I mean, it's like, yeah, this was pretty...
Actually, Johnny Knoxville is a theater genius.
Well, I mean, compared to this shit, fuck yeah, he's a theatrical genius. I mean, look at this. Like, all right, this guy is rolling through on a carriage with some horses. All right,
I'm gonna skip ahead.
So maybe we can attribute that to be like, okay, here's the early stages of traveling. You know, it's horse and carriage, and we're going through here, and then followed by a bunch of I don't even know what the fuck this is. The white people covered in cocaine, scantily dressed in underwear.
Pabloverse.
Woman with mouthful of titty.
She sucked on that for a second, right?
Fuck yeah, she did, bro. Look, dude.
Look.
Yeah,
that
look,
was weird,
dude. That was a mouthful of nipple, bro. She had a handful of ass. Look.
Yeah.
Look, she's all up on that shit, bro. Like they are scissoring. I mean, I'm trying to figure out if this was supposed to be the next phase in travel or something. Okay, here's some dudes holding hands and a bunch of.
Oh, we skipped this part the first time.
What the? Is that a cow head?
Yeah, there's like this dude that he's like Baphomet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then there's some guy that yodels. But like, yeah, look at this Baphomet guy.
Dude, what the? All right, bro.
Yeah, right? So it's like, we're
something
back to
about
the same
this
point.
makes me just want to swallow a 357. Jesus Christ. Like,
it's like, can't you just make great art that inspires
Can't we just
society?
have a fucking speech and a ribbon cutting ceremony?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, look, dude, call me old fashioned, but fuck me, bro. Like, what is this? What is this? I mean, and here's all your white women with armpit hair and.
So then here's the extra meta part of it. So then Variety on the last thing. So then. So there's this guy who's the head CEO of
I don't even... I'm not trying to be a dick. Who the fuck is that?
So there's this dude, and he's the head of Marvel. Like, he's like some dude high up. And then there's Jessica Gao, and she's the writer. So basically...
Really?
Yes.
She's the writer for She-Hulk?
She-Hulk, yes. So
Wait.
Yes.
Shocker.
She is She-Hulk.
Shocker. Wait, oh, she is?
No, I'm joking.
Oh.
So...
I promise I'm not a dick.
So basically, she's the writer who then talks about the head of Marvel, and like she makes fun of him. Like he is imagined as like some computer thing, and nobody's watching the show, by the way. At the end of the finale, they pissed off everybody that would have liked it.
I think that show had like abysmal ratings and viewership, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's what happens. I mean, the same thing. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so Jessica Gao writes this show where she then fucking makes fun of Kevin Feige, the dude that's like the head CEO of Marvel, and then he likes it because he is the dude who he is why Marvel sucks or why this show
he
sucks.
He probably hates himself, I'm
He
sure.
hates himself, and he loved that they were making fun of him, and he's like, yes, make me a slave robot that knows how to write shows. It's like, it broke the wall so much that it makes no fucking sense. So the whole trajectory of our conversation is like, do you have to make shit that talks about the audience, or can't you just make a great theater or great film or great piece of art that inspires people? Why does it have to be so meta? Why does it have to... And the other thing is too.
Well, I think you can compare this like to a direct like something that came out about the same time, man. I mean, look at this. Compare that to like the Top Gun movie. Fucking
Yes.
top selling film of all time. No bullshit involved. It was purely just a feel good fucking American film about airplanes and the continuation of that story. And it's fucking wonderful. It did great in theaters, you know, shocker. I mean, like it wasn't loaded with a bunch of propaganda and bullshit. I mean, well, actually, okay, maybe it was to an extent. I mean, like you could say that was like American propaganda or military propaganda,
but it was
like
so surface level that it's like it didn't fuck up the plot of
well,
the
yeah,
movie.
of course. I mean, like, dude, if you think about the first one, the first Top Gun movie actually single-handedly saved Navy recruiting when it came out. You know, versus what the fuck did She-Hulk do besides just create a bunch of controversy and shit?
That does get to my point though about you don't want to be an actor in someone else's play. That's why I got rid of my phone. That's why I got off the internet, was because I was starting to realize that these people, like for example, these people are going to brag about how they pissed off people by doing something that should piss off people.
Correct.
And we know that Twitter's loaded with bots. What's to stop them from preempting the response by using bots to say what they expected people to say? It doesn't make any fucking sense. They thought the outrage was going to sell the show, but it didn't sell the show. People still didn't like it. And yeah, like that's when but the second Top Gun, it's a perfect example. It's like they didn't have Army recruit or Navy recruiters sitting outside the theater, but it was a good, inspiring film. And it's like, why can't you make things that inspire people to be better instead of trying to make shit that's so meta that focuses on
that's because
the fucking shittiest
better
thing of
people
society.
aren't stupid, man. Better people aren't stupid, and stupid people are just gonna listen. And so, I mean, yeah, if your objective was to create better people, then you're creating people that just genuinely are going to be more not favorable to that kind of stuff, man. I mean, they're just going to be more independent thinkers, I guess.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, that's not the kind of the kind of audience or perception that you're trying to give off, you know, when you're just trying to create more stupid people to watch your movies or do the things that you want them to do, you know, or at least that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But it's just like, just because things are self-referencing doesn't make them better.
True.
Like, I appreciate good movies, and we'll get into one soon, which I'm building up to. These little segments I'm building up to a movie called Tenet by Christopher Nolan. But just because something's self-referencing doesn't make it better, but it does make, you can world build with self-referencing things. But it's like, if you're like, wow, we did something shitty and somebody had a shitty response, that validates us. No, you created a shitty response. You made something bad in the world. Congrats. Your art is shitty.
Yeah, just because it's art doesn't necessarily mean that it has some kind of value. And I mean, maybe I'm going to piss some people off, but like, I look at a lot of like modern art and, you know, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, especially if you compare that to some like Renaissance art. And I guess you could say, well, art is in the eye of the beholder, or it can be, you know, it could have a lot of various different meanings and different kind of interpretations and whatnot, but like there's only so many ways you can interpret, you know, a crucifix in a jar of piss, or a splatter painting of random colors and whatnot. Not saying that it's not pretty, but like compare that to like a Michelangelo, and you're going to ask me, you know, which one of these is the better artist. I mean, just from a purely like aesthetical standpoint, I'm obviously going to say, well, you know, that's Michelangelo, or you know, a Sebastian Bach or something like that, right. You know, in comparison to like Cardi B or some shit. You know, I mean, again, I'm not shitting on people, but I'm just saying from a general standpoint of it.
There's an objective. See, the thing is that despite everybody saying things are subjective, there's an objective difference. There's an objective quality. And it's like, if you're living in the end times and you keep talking about the audience, well, guess what? Your art's going to be shit and forgotten, and you're just going to keep making more shitty people. It's not going to work out that way.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes when I go through a drive-thru and I get the wrong order, I just like to think about like Michelangelo, and then look at my burger sliding off the top with the cheese all fucking uncentered. And I thought that like would be a good scrapbook if you could just take like the creation of Adam, the creation of man, and it's like the fingertips touching, and then it's just like a fucking burger sliding off the face and shit.
Oh man, this is devolving quickly.
Yeah. I think we about accomplished everything we were meant to accomplish. Looking forward to building this podcast out. We're going to have little avatars sooner or later. Our goal is to just build a podcast and have fun. So if you were here with us this podcast, appreciate you. Appreciate you.
You know, Happy New Year's and shit.
Happy New Year's.
It's the last day of 2022, and
it's the Chinese year of Pablo, so it's going to look good.
Wow, fucking right.
Welcome to the Pabloverse.
But, you know, you can always come and see us at weedandguns.com or check us out on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you may find Weed and Guns, you know.
We'll put some links somewhere, probably next podcast, but we're just saying hi this time. All right, man. Got anything else to say?
Probably not.
Okay. Peace.
Peace out.